And we're back with some more Factorio. And I would like to introduce you to Abomination. This is this is wrong. This is so wrong on so many levels. But this is petroleum, light oil, and heavy oil all going out on the same pipe. This is I was advised about this several times in the comments, so I had to try it. And yes, this is going to work. It's horrifying, but it works. Okay. So what they do is, it used to be that if you put three liquids or two liquids on the same line, they'd mix together and it'd get all sorts of mixed up, and you could never really clear out the pipes. But what they've done now is, if any liquid ends up in a pipe, it's across the entire pipe. So if you dump 10 crude oil in here, that 10 crude oil is immediately available across the entire pipe length. But it's evenly distributed instantly, whereas before there used to be a flow rate where you had to get liquid from one side to the other and it would slow down at long lengths and blah blah blah. No, they got rid of all that. It's instantaneous. It's like electricity, basically, up to a distance. If you go beyond a certain distance, so you need pumps. So what we have done here, basically just copying from the lunatics who have come before us, as you will see, there is petroleum gone. Now, watch this. The heavy oil should... Is it the heavy oil goes first? Heavy oil is gone, then light oil is gone, then petroleum gas is gone. And then it repeats. So if we hover over the pipe, we can see... One second... Heavy oil, gone. Light oil, gone. Petroleum gas, gone. And then it repeats. That's it. So what's happening is, you can't mix liquids in pipes anymore. There's no mixing. So what happens is, one of these gets spit out first. And then because that one gets spit out first, all the others spit out there. So let's say it's petroleum, or heavy oil, let's say. The heavy oil all comes out, then the heavy oil all gets caught by these liquid pumps over here. These liquid pumps go, give us all that juicy heavy oil, and because it's filtered, you can see the little heavy oil symbol on them. And they pump it all into the heavy oil tanks. And that's it. And once it's all out of this pipe, then the next thing in line comes along, which is the light oil. And the light oil, same thing happens, and then the petroleum. Done. And that's it. You're quickly able to siphon everything out. Now over here, we're just throwing in some, lubricant. So what's happening is, all of the heavy oil is going to get converted to lubricant, and we've put some, well, changes here and there. This one. If lubricant is below 20,000, as in there's not 20,000 lubricant in one of these tanks, then these heavy oil splitters will not turn on. And when it comes to light oil, unless there's more than 10,000 light oil sitting around in these tanks, these won't turn on. That just leaves us some for making rocket fuel, that sort of stuff. Our tank is going to get thirsty at some point. And that's it. This is the simplest, dumbest oil I've ever seen, and it's horrifying. Like, this... Knowing this exists just is painful to the back of my brain. This should not work. This is not allowed. All the old rules are screaming. But the new rules, it seems, don't care. Oil, complete, in the worst possible way. I have been heavily advised. Do not plan ahead too far in Factorio, because things have changed so drastically. The designs I've been making are based on old school limitations, and it seems those will all fade away. What we need to do is just finish out the tech on this planet and get off it. And then we can get to new planets and get new tech and do new stuff. So, yes. This here is going to be our bus. It's going to be, well, 6 tiles wide or 6 belts wide and then staggered along. And then, well, iron, copper, 2 green circuits, and then all of this stuff. Basically, just we're going to put this stuff on the bus and use that to build everything. Should be fairly handy. Now, this here is left blank because I'm going to put liquids in here. So this is going to be, I think, sulfuric acid, I want to say. No, that's going to be sulfur. No, that's going to be sulfur. And this is probably going to be sulfuric acid. Well, we can play around a bit. The thing about the bus is it's flexible, and we've got a few spare slots here at the end for extra stuff. We might have to carpet over some water further along, but that's okay. First things, though, is we have to put in a mall. Or, sorry, a fulfillment center. Actually, I should move these power poles around. They're in a really awkward positioning. For a fulfillment center, we're going with the oldest of the old school. This is the Catherine of Skye Mall. This was made 8 years ago, I think? Yeah, according to the blueprints thing, it's 8 years old. Now, is this the best mall currently? Probably not. I'm sure there have been better malls that have been created. In fact, this is probably going to mess up. But it's grand. This thing's pretty easy to put down, and it's pretty flexible, so we can rip out bits that don't work anymore and replace it. It's fairly easy to get your a handle on. See these gear things over here? These gear things basically feed gears down the middle. So many things require gears that feeding those down the middle just makes sense. And then the outside one takes all the other resources. It won't be the fastest thing. This isn't maxed out for making stuff, but it will allow us to get all of the basic building blocks we're going to need for the rest of the base. Maybe someone should put me to a better fulfillment center in the new versions, but yeah, I've been very lazy about this. Well, we haven't got all the way to the end of this. There's a whole bunch more here that needs to be constructed. But all we really care about for now is getting inserters, transport belts, and stuff like that up and running. And we can upgrade this to make it run faster, as in put in faster transport belt and all that. It upgrades itself. Now, the main thing is, I just have to remember what inputs go where. I'm pretty sure it's an iron belt here and here. The second while I hook it up. Now, this mess over here is 5 iron belts feeding into a 5-way load balancer, just to make sure this is all evened out. It's probably bad because this should actually be a 6-way, but you know what? It's fine. We've got to fly by the seat of our pants on this one, I've been informed, so that's what we're going to do. Alright, plug you in there. Oh, we should hook up power. Yeah, that should probably be an idea. Right, there we go. Getting some gears out on the line. I want to get more iron plate, though, into this. 1 second. You can have output priority left. Excellent. That means all the steel coming in iron plate should try and fill up that belt first. Then we'll just extend this on and do something similar over here. This takes a second belt of iron over here. Perfect. Okay, I think we are started. We'll need to get in copper as well before we can do anything more serious than that. What do you require? Actually, a bunch of stuff only requires iron plate. Cool. Well, we got a backlog of iron plate. We're now producing transport belt on site, though. We're going to be upgrading to the red transport belt soon enough. So we're not going to need that much of it, though. I might extend this out a bit. Give us, Oh, I've got a whole bunch back at the other base, so you know what? No, we'll leave it where it is. What we want to do now is start hooking up the other items to it. The first thing we want to do is put in green circuits. Green circuits pops along here, and it basically allows us to start churning out level 2 transport, well, all the additional transport belt niceness. Okay, I think I see what's going on here. There's some automation that's built into these that's 8 years old that doesn't work anymore. So, for example, this one here wants to wait until there's a certain amount of red transport belt before it starts picking them up. But it won't engage because there's no actual... The whole make a wire thing has been removed. So let's just get rid of that. It'll be fine. Alright. In the background, I'm doing a minor bit of research into like just a few low-tier things. Though, I never really found the appeal of landmines. Never got it. We're going to do something similar with the copper to what we did with the iron. We're just going to run it into a belt balancer to make sure it's all spread out nice and evenly. And it all draws evenly. And then we're just going to plug that in. Now, right now... We actually have enough red belt that we can start doing some hops. As in, where is it? Yes, you over here. Give us a bunch of that. Excellent. Now we have fast underground belts, which allows us to hop 6. The big difference between the underground belts is this one allows you to go 4, and then you can just run along and pop under stuff. This red one has more range, allowing you to jump 2 more squares. This is why you're able to make this 6-tile wide bus, because we know at any point we can just pull something from this side and then hop across without interfering with this bus. Makes it very handy. Blue belts, which are the next level up, can hop 8 tiles, which is even more awesome, but designing your base around it is expensive. It's not the cheapest stuff to make. Now, over here, let's see. We're going to want you for about there, let's say. Oh, I should probably send this on a bit, just so you can see what I mean. We have our copper coming along here. We're going to assume we've got this filled up with the iron as the game goes along, so you can just hop across like that. And that means it doesn't interfere with this, and then we just have a place to pull iron and copper, and we can just dump them into whatever builds we like. This build is, yeah, it's pretty dumb, but it should work. You, get me right there. It's basically a straight line of green circuit production, and it can be, you know, botted or belted or whatever the hell you want to do with it, and it's nice and skiddy. And that we're going to feed back into this system so that we can get more of the components we need to build more of this system. These green circuits, you see, have to come down here and get fed onto this. And you know what? Let's do this in reverse. There we go. Then this fella here, all you have to do is feed it on backwards. Wait a minute, I'll hopefully can demonstrate this better. Put you to about there. And now we've got green circuits that can go both directions on the bus. Now you may be wondering what happens when copper gets to here. Well, that's easy. If copper gets to here, and we've got a whole belt of copper coming through this section, and it needs to get past this, we just jump it. We use underground belts, and again, we pop across these. So this way you're able to just keep everything straight in your head. You know where things are going, and it just sort of gets where it needs to, even if it does take a little bit of finagling now and then. So a little bit of belt fooey, and green circuits can now flow back up this direction. We're going to have to replace all of this yellow belt with red belt eventually. But that flows along here and starts feeding into all of these. Now we have access to splitters, regular splitters, red splitters, and that's all of the basic building blocks we need. Oh, and over here we should have... Ooh, where are all these inserters going? Why are you not moving in? What's missing? Oh, it needs green circuits as well. But soon, see, the green circuits come up here and they get split off this section. This allows all of these to pull on it. So your basic inserters, your blue inserters, and your green inserters, your bulk inserters, all of them can now start pulling off this section. We even have another section up here. We've got red inserters down the end. This whole thing sort of just works. It's nice, easy, and it's not that hard for you to wrap your brain around. And if you want to build something of your own, you can just rip one of these out and replace it with something. We've got green circuits coming in, iron plate, and we're going to have more resources coming down the side here, but eventually this whole thing can produce about 90% of all the stuff you need at a reasonable speed. Looking at our pollution cloud, well, this here is our radius. Anything inside here is covered by turrets, and all we have to worry about coming through there is just expansion parties. We don't worry about the expansion parties too much, because if they try and get past any of these little turret setups, they'll get slaughtered. We don't need a lot of ammo to stop them. They're much smaller groups. However, if this pollution from our mining over here gets to this nest, it will launch a rather substantial raid. So, because we can see that pollution expanding out to meet them, and we don't have time to clear it out just yet, what we're going to do instead is just reinforce this area. Now, I've put down a bunch of laser turrets, which will probably redline our grid, but that should hopefully bulk up our defense on this side. We've also kind of merged these two together. This is all plugged into our main grid as well, so it'll be drawing power from our rather large solar setups over there. Should be fine. If it redlines everything, well, we'll know pretty quick. Alright, we'll leave that do its job, and we'll go back to finishing off our bus. I saw that and I thought we should probably take care of that before that comes to take care of us. Oh, and I should probably point out, see that there? Those blobs? That's an expansion party. A bunch of biters came through and they were looking to expand. And it turns out, yes, the mechanics are every 2 to 60 minutes, depending on the evolution of the biters, they try and pick a free space to expand into. And if you have explored more territory, they're just going to dense up. We don't want them dense. We want them spread out so that we can circle strafe them in a tank and blow them up. So I would prefer if they actually tried to come and send all their expansion parties towards us, because if they do that, it makes our life an awful lot easier. Because when we do finally go out to just clear them out, they'll be much more, much thinner, more spread out. Yep, there's definitely some weirdness going on with these. These are using the old school automation. It's fine. We can rip it out and replace them with our own automation or something better. But for now, we're just going to get this churning. I think the next thing we want to put on the belt is steel. Up here, you see, this guy requires steel. I think when this was originally released 8 years ago, these did not require steel to be made. So we need to bring in steel on here. And I believe the steel goes on this far belt here. So we're going to load up steel there. And then we're just going to... I'm going to show you how you can modify this to build pretty much anything, depending... Like, with all the inputs you can put in, you can pretty much build all the major resources. Modifying this to accept the steel is actually not that hard. This guy here only needs iron plate off the bus. So what we can do... What we can do is this. Just say... grab your iron plate from there, and you no longer need iron plate from this section. And none of the guys up here, as far as I'm aware, yet they don't need iron plate as well. So that means none of them need that, which also means the only other person that requires it is these mining drills. So they can grab that right off that side as well, which means that can all go. All of it. Finished. Then all we have to do is replace that with a steel belt. Pretty handy. I think it's something like this. It's been a while. I'm kind of rusty, but let's grab you there. And done. Now the steel gets all the way to the end. And perfect. We now have blue assemblers up and running. Finished. And everything else is still going to work as before. This allows you to pretty much just plug in anything you want. There's lots of little ways you can plug in things. The fact that you've got iron plate coming in from the left, if only this one required iron plate, you could do it. If you need something to have a lot more resources, there's other ways as well. But this little build, the reason I like it is because even when it messes up, even when there's things that no longer function, you can modify it. And you can modify it, and it pretty much has everything you need in the bus. We're going to put red circuits on the other side of this green line. I went down and modified the green line a bit. Half of this is green, half of this is red, and I think the last thing over here is half brick, half stone, or it might be coal. Half brick, half stone, or maybe it's plastic. You know what? Doesn't matter. One thing I would like to finish out with this really quick is maybe upgrade it to red transport belt. Now, upgrade planner. Let's... What do you do? Okay, I can't upgrade anything to blue. There's some for me to control that. Okay, I think I get it. We put in, say, yellow splitters to red splitters. And done. And this upgrade planner should now do just that. Okay, there's a bunch of... How do I stop that? No, I don't want you to upgrade those. Okay, I'll figure that out in a minute. For now, I want to test this on a section and see what it does. Say you. Perfect. Okay, so it just upgrades the bits we care about. We don't want to upgrade everything to stack inserters. This is fine. Okay, we're actually able to change the upgrade planner into a downgrade planner. So anything that's set for blue will now get reduced to red again. That was just sloppy on my part. I should have planned from that from the start. So that should get rid of all those... damn it. Okay. I need to change all of these stack inserters back to regular inserters as well. There were some minor complications. Turns out these now require copper cable, the substations. Also, in fact, all of these require copper cable. There was no copper on this bus at all last I checked, so I don't know what happened there. But what we did was we used these ones. These ones seem to be set up to do blue and green again, so instead of getting the same inserters we've already got a duplicate of, we just converted them over to copper, wire, and iron bars. What are they called? Iron sticks. Sorry, they're not even bars, they're just sticks. And then we chuck them on this outside belt here, which we bring in to feed into these machines. It's messy, but it's sort of... Well, part of the joy of the design is you can kind of just reconfigure bits here and there to make it work. It'll never be the most efficient or pretty, but you can kind of make it work and just force it through no matter what you're trying to build. I think that's good. Yeah, perfect. And that means we have... Yeah, we're finally making these power poles, so we can stop using the small electric ones or the wooden power poles from now on if we want. We'll probably still use it because they're cheap, but we can at least upgrade. Alright, where were we? I think I'll put in a second layer of green circuits here, and then we'll head on to red. I'm just going to leave it clustered in there in all the trees. And I think, do we have everything efficiency moduled? Ooh, I think some of the later ones, I missed out on the efficiency modules. We want to make sure we're minimizing that pollution as much as possible. The next step here is to chuck on stone and brick on one line. This line here is, okay, it's not going to be used for a while. It's actually way down the, here we go. This will start producing us rails so we can start getting into trains. That will be a little while. That's also set with a very generous space capacity so we can put in lots of them. And it's also one of the few places we make iron sticks successfully. Alright, the rest of it goes into, I think, oil refineries. Yep, oil refineries are required for the brick, and that gives us 10 oil refineries. Ooh. If you ever decide to go nuts on the oil refineries, I'd prefer to have 20 on hand just in case. How are you looking? We need to get red ships on the bus shortly. Down here we've got train stops. Train stops actually required iron bars as well, so we brought along the belt full of coils and iron sticks. That's in here to feed that. Yes, it's ugly, but hey, so long as it works. And over here we have walls being produced. I mean, we're going to need a bunch of them at some point, so why not? And then it carries on a little bit further, but I don't think there's much else that requires it. Oh, wait. No. We're going to need to put together some more of those laser turrets as well. We're probably going to need them. What are we missing over here? We're missing the blue chests. We won't be able to get the blue chests until we get off this planet, so we might just want to delete those. Down here we have a minor problem. You can see that that there has become damaged. We'll turn off our roboport for the moment. Now, let's see here. Give me a storage chest. I can't remember exactly how this works, but hopefully I can muddle my way through it. Give us some repair packs. 10 repair packs. Perfect. Now, if we put a construction robot or two in here, will it work? And yes, it does. And they'll pop down here and repair this stuff automatically. The doors, the walls, everything. Oh, I should probably extend this power on. I mean, there's no reason not to at this point. Done. What's your ammo looking like? Yeah, you got plenty. All this thing is really killing anyway is scouting parties that go by. So far, our pollution seems to have been stalled out before it got to the big nest. Alright, let's get around to doing red chips. Once we got red and blue chips, we can start doing the final sciences. or, well, actually redoing the basic sciences and then going all the way up to the top. We should have all the resources necessary, or all the building blocks necessary, to just churn through everything really quickly now. Oh, the big problem is going to be actual resources, though. We won't have enough iron, copper, all that stuff flowing in to, well, process everything. So I think the first thing on the agenda is going to be, what are we going to use to clear more space? Ooh, you, stop. Thing is, we got to clear out, say, more space around here, because we're definitely going to have a pollution cloud, and probably up here as well. This entire area is about to become a massive pollution cloud, so... I have been advised Defender robot capsules are now much more powerful. So I'm thinking we could probably build some more of those, and as well as that, you can have more of them. It used to be you could only have 5 or 6 following you. Now with just one upgrade here, we can go up to from 20 to 30. 30 Defender capsules would do an absolute number. It's basically like having, well, 30 gun turrets following you around. Not for very long, but they will follow you. As well as that, we can get better armor, I'm thinking. Yes, Power Armor Mark II. We can get Power Armor Mark II once we get Yellow Science in. So if we do Yellow Science first, that will allow us to expand out using the better Power Armor. Ooh, can we get... where is it? Portable Fission Reactor. Now, a good fission reactor will get us some stuff we can stick into our armor to help us out. So I say we grab the portable fission reactor. Oh, which means we're going to need... yeah, how do we research this? Concrete. Oh yeah, fine. We're going to get concrete, get uranium, start processing that immediately, and then that's going to get us into fuel and stuff. Then what we do once we get our hands on the uranium is start processing some of that so that we can start getting ready to make nuclear reactors. Then what we can do is we can upgrade to the higher tier armor, put in the nuclear reactors into it, or the fusion reactors. Fission reactors, whatever. We can stick in some lasers in that. Then we can do something similar for the tank, because it's got an equipment grid as well. We'll probably put some legs in it. Here it is. Yeah, we'll put some legs in there to make it go faster, which means we'll be less likely to get stuck on stuff. And then we can go clear some extra biters for our base. Or, sorry, some extra space for resource collection. Before we can make the red circuits, we're going to need to get the plastic up and running. To get the plastic up and running, we need the coal. To get the coal up and running, well, that's going to be a little bit of a journey. Let's see. We are over here, and the coal, well, our starting coal is over here, and our further away coal is over there, and that's the only coal we found. So we hope we find more. Oh no, there's some up there. That's even further away. We're going to plug this in, and at some point we're going to have to get trains going in this place, but for now, we're just going to run extremely long transport belts. Well, petroleum was actually the easier one between coal and that. Petroleum, we just sort of ran down here and squeezed it in. It's just a case of figuring out somewhere where we can cram in some piping or some transport belt or something like that. That's pretty much 90% of this. And we just have it hooked back up to the petroleum over there. And done. That gets petroleum onto the bus as well. So now, like, we could just jump straight across here and try going in between all of these. But you like to keep everything on the bus, to keep it organized in your head so you know exactly where everything is. And you could use it further down the line again. So that gets us... Oh, wait, no. I'll hook up the coal. And that should get us plastic. Here we go. Done. Then we'll just stick some... Yeah, say this guy here. There. Then you can spread it out. And that'll put plastic on the bus. Where's plastic go? Oh. Down here. Excellent. Now, I don't know if plastic needs to come back here just yet, but we'll put in a backflow for plastic. Done. Now we've got plastic on the bus, coal, stone, green circuits, copper, steel, and iron plate. Still not producing any science, though, but we're getting there. We're slowly but surely filling out all the little building blocks and hooking everything up. We shouldn't actually need to run another coal line. We might have to upgrade that coal line later. And the stone line we might have to upgrade as well to blue belt. But I think that should be all we need. We won't need to train those, as in put them on trains. The iron plate, though, or the iron might be a problem. And the oil. I'm not sure how long that oil is going to last as well. But we'll cross those resource bottlenecks when we come to them. I expanded out the plastic line so we could stick on some sulfuric acid. Now, the reason I want the sulfuric acid is actually pretty simple. I want to start mining uranium. And you need to have sulfuric acid pumped into your mining drills to do that. So getting some sulfuric acid going would seem like a plan. Also, it can fit in here on the plastic line, because this requires petroleum, and that just saves us a little bit of moving stuff around. Yeah, there we go. Now, ooh, actually, we need to put... These guys here will produce the actual solid sulfur. That solid sulfur will then get fed into this thing. Now, how much does it take? 1 iron plate, 1 second crafting time. I don't think this red thing's going to be able to keep up with it, is it? No, it can. Perfect. Yeah, it might become a problem if we beacon that later, but I'm not going to worry about it just yet. So that gets sulfuric acid onto the bus. It also got water onto the bus, and it got petroleum. So we now have all three of those ready to go. And when you look at it down here, there's a big pile of uranium. Let's go tap into that now. Before we activate that mining, I should probably put some efficiency modules in there. I gotta be real careful about that. We don't want our pollution getting out of control just yet. We still haven't got our access to uranium ammo. With this mining, we've went with substations. They have a larger radius, and we're able to just provide power to all of these without leaving any gaps. We want to grab as much uranium as we possibly can. And we might as well just keep using these cheap poles. We should really have stopped using these ages ago, but laziness and all that. You... Done. Oh, yeah, sulfuric acid. These things should now have a liquid input, right? Ah, yes, you can see the little blue things at the end. They should be able to feed each other, so all we have to do is get it in on one side. So you, let's say... Oh, they're all fed already. All of them getting their power. Grand, in that case. All of the piping set up, and then we just bring this guy across. Ooh. You know what? Just get rid of those and put in some regular pipes. It'll be fine. Done. This is going to very slowly generate... Ooh, bonus production. We've already got that? Since when? 20% every run. This has knocked out some uranium mining, which allows us to get uranium processing done. Nuclear power. Straight into that. Then, nuclear fuel reprocessing. Nope, we don't need that. We just need nuclear power. And then after that, we're going to get portable fusion reactors. Well, centrifuges are a bit of a pain in the butt. We're going to need red chips before we can start making them, but I want to get this set up now so that I have less problems later. It does require concrete, and concrete is nowhere produced anywhere, so we're going to need iron ore. So this line of copper that we brought in ages ago, well, the half line of copper, we put the other half into iron ore. This way we can now make concrete out here. We just need to get in water and stone, which pretty handy. We've got all this stuff now in our little... fulfillment center, so it should be pretty quick to stick together. Oof, this is getting messy, but it still kind of works. Actually, one second. What we've done down here is we've hooked up some battery production. We just brought some sulfuric acid off the bus along the side here, and that feeds into this thing. And we already had copper and iron plate on here, so we just had to belt fooey that in somehow. And once that was in, we were able to produce batteries, which we fed into this thing to make laser turrets. And now we can make laser turrets automatically to start bulking up our defenses in places. And then over here, this is another battery setup. Same thing, just so that we can mass produce those more quickly. This required water and iron ore, which is a bit weird. The iron ore we brought in with the water we sort of brought from, well, down at where we're sending it onto the bus. It kind of works. So, yeah. This whole thing's pretty easy. All we're missing is some red circuits and we can start churning out those centrifuges. And red circuits are next thing on the menu. When it comes to installing this new red circuit build, it's not going to be new. It's just going to be recycled. We'll just do a quick Control-C to copy. Give me all of that, please. Perfect. And then we'll just paste it down over here. No, a little bit more there. Yeah, that looks about perfect. And then we'll just finish this out. Oh, actually, we should upgrade it. Ah, yes, this one. Probably should have upgraded it first. You know what? Doesn't make a difference. It's fine. Oh, bugger. I just realized I haven't been putting efficiency modules in these. That's fine. These new ones will have efficiency modules. Green circuits, plastic, copper. I think we are good to turn you on. Done. Okay, that should start getting us red circuits. Our old base is having problems with red circuits at the moment, namely because we're running out of copper back there. This should... Ooh, I'd forgotten these things use the old inserters. You know what? They still work just fine. No point upgrading them. Yeah, perfect. With that done... I feel like we should almost go back to the old base and upgrade the copper a little bit. The copper, as you can see, is only a smattering. There is 15,000 copper left at the old patch. I have actually started splicing in this little patch we found. Oh, that's already empty. I started splicing that in to help bolster the copper numbers, but it's still not enough to keep this thing running. Don't want to get tied back to this base, though. Just push through? Might be better to just push through. Before we moved on to the blue, I decided to just fill out the bus a bit so it looks less spotty. this is now what it looks like. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so 6, 6. One of these is a petroleum, so it basically just, it's not going to look like a belt. That's because it's literally a pipe. And I think that's, yeah, that looks actually an awful lot neater. Now we'll just chuck down some blue chips right here. Right now, all of our red circuits are being completely drained. I believe we do have enough copper coming in, do we not? 1 second. Actually, yeah, we're kind of low on a lot of resources, as in we're not smelting a huge amount of stuff. But it's enough to get us over the hump for now. That red circuits is going up here, and there's a whole bunch of stuff down this side that we want red circuits for. Where are we making? Stack inserters. Yeah, those bulk inserters are... What? They're called bulk inserters? Oh, these used to be called stack. Times they are changing. Then they also go down here, and I believe they're being picked up by some other things. Roboports. So Roboport production is in full swing as well, so it's going to take a little bit of time for all of this to backfill. There's still a whole bunch of things we haven't actually finished off. Ooh. How many have we got up to now? Almost up to 100 laser turrets. I've also kicked back on solar production so that we can have more solar plants. We're going to need more with the amount of laser turrets we're planning on deploying. But yes, this is looking like the start of an actual factory, even if it's got a bunch of trees in it. Don't worry, the pollution will kill them all eventually. We just have to keep adding on more production. Also, since this is our new base, this is our old base over here. So our starter base is, well, we're almost running into our starter base at our intermediate base. Our intermediate base is going to grow through here and kind of demolish this as we go. And I think, actually, I can't turn on blue until the red catches up. Might want to extend red out a bit. The advent of red circuits has allowed us to put together centrifuges. And that's going to allow us to start processing uranium ore. This thing's a pain in the butt. Basically, it takes in 10 uranium ore, and then it has a 0.7% chance of spitting out the good stuff that you want, the uranium-235. Otherwise, it just spits out one of the dull stuff, as in uranium-238. 238's not as useful. You can use it to make nuclear ammo, which we're going to get around to. But what we're going to do is just let these run. And we're going to process this ore and start turning it into, well, this stuff. And in fact, we might put in a few more of these. The thing is, you kind of want this to just keep building up for a while, because you're not going to get a lot of the ore you want, and we want a bunch of that. In fact, you can go... What the hell was that? Oh, it's giving you sort of Geiger counter sound when you use that. Man, never mind. Yeah, we'll put down a few more of these, but we want to start processing enough of this that the small percentage chance of 0.7% actually results in us getting a few pieces of that uranium so that we can turn it into fuel later on, and then we can use that fuel to make little microreactors for our suit. And since I know someone's going to spot it, I forgot to put efficiency modules in these. That should tamp down their nasty pollution. Excellent. Did we get any good stuff yet? No, all still terrible. Well, keep at it. Eventually you'll find some decent junk in there. Well, problems have arisen. The amount of resources we're able to extract, I mean, I've upgraded these mines to the max. We still can't extract enough ore to keep these things running, so we're going to have to expand to get more ore. But to get more ore on this difficulty level, we're going to need a little bit more firepower. So how close are we to getting it is the question. Oh, and blue chips are now on the bus. Just about. We're still... There's a lot of production going on over there that's draining a lot of resources when it comes down to it. Like, these centrifuges over here, they stack up to 50. So currently the game's building 50 of them over there. These things are, not cheap. A centrifuge is 100 advanced circuits, 50 steel, and 100 concrete. The 50 steel is a bit of a problem. That steel plate's rather expensive. The 100 advanced circuits, not too cheap either. Oh, and we finally got some of the good stuff. We've got 2 uranium-235. Excellent. Before we start on the expansion, you see, what I really want to get my hands on is, well, there's a couple of things. One is the portable fusion reactor, of course, but also want to get uranium ammo. Uranium ammo is just such an upgrade. Regular ammo has a base damage of 8. Uranium ammo has a base damage of 24, which means it just shreds. And at the same time, we'll gain access to uranium cannon shells. They're not quite as big of an upgrade. I think it doubles the damage. But that's fine. We can take all the cannon shells we currently have, just combine them with some of that dull uranium we've picked up, and we can make ourselves a bunch of uranium cannon shells. This is just such a massive upgrade for clearing nests. We can just plow through them an awful lot faster. So what we really want to do is get our hands on some utility science Not an awful lot, actually. 150 for that, 1,000 for that. Okay, maybe a decent amount. But once that's knocked out, we should have more than enough firepower to clear a decent amount of space back there. Oh, and at the same time, we have been letting our solar panels catch up. How are we up to? We got 707. Once we hit 730, that's enough to plop down one more module. So we'll chuck down another one probably about here. We might have to use some landfill, but we can probably square this off, put in another solar panel. Just gives us that little bit more power, because what I want to do when we start securing new areas, run power over there and just stick down laser turrets. Much less fiddling around, coming back to put down ammo, that type of thing. We can just chuck down laser turrets and be done with it. You see, we are not defending wave after wave of biters. All we are doing is killing the scouting parties that are trying to build up somewhere. So long as we keep clearing out our pollution cloud, pushing the biters back, and then just killing any of the expansion things that try to get into our base, we're fine. And they're very small. The actual expansion things are tiny. And doing that, we're able to sort of, well, not cheat, but sort of simplify our path through Death World. That's it, Death World difficulty. I was trying to remember what the hard version of this is, Death World. Yeah, so, anyway, somehow I always keep running out of time in this game because I keep getting distracted. You cut out stuff that's just kind of minorly done, like, oh, I did a quick circuit around here to make sure that none of the outposts had fallen. 2 of them had actually taken damage and used ammo, but the rest of them were all fine. I also topped them all up on ammo to give them 100 ammo apiece, just to make sure that we didn't run into any problems. But yes, next up, we're going to get utility science started. We should have been on it already. It's just, well, let's just say this silly mall we put down has kind of distracted from stuff. Please let me know which mall I should have built. I know there was a better one, but I searched through the mods, or I searched through the Factorio forums, and anything I looked for was mall, instability, like all the keywords I searched. The most recent one I found was this, pretty much. And it kind of does the job, and its modability just said, yeah, why not? I'll just go with something I'm slightly familiar with. Anyway, I am going to cut this out here. Next up, expansion. I hope you enjoyed it. Good luck.